If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me and subscribe to me on all my other social media platforms. What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with another album review for you guys, and tonight I am talking about another album I was curious to check out that came out on August 11th of this year, and that is Werewolves with My Enemies Look and Sound Like Me. So this came out on Prosthetic Records. Man, I've been checking out a lot of Prosthetic Records releases this year, and this is the latest one on that label that I'm checking out. So, yeah, this is described as blackened technical death metal, and I would say that's a fair description, although I would say some of the blackened elements are kind of few and far between. Maybe in some of like the really sinister tremolo riffs might be a little bit blackened, but it also kind of gives me some Morbid Angel vibes, and I suggest you to have a drinking game every time I bring up Morbid Angel in this review, because yeah, there's a lot of Morbid Angel vibes on here. So why don't we get started with Under the Ground. Shortest track of the album, a little over 2 minutes, vicious tremolos and blasts right away, although here it felt a little bit more like an all-Nath rock, a little bit. And then it gets into some like really fast thrashy bits that almost bring out a bit of a Vader vibe. Like there's a lot of Vader nods on this album whenever it gets down to like that more kind of thrashy death metal vibe, and also whenever the drums get really thrashy. Made me think of Vader. Like when it comes down to like thrashy death metal, Vader would be one of the first bands I would think of, and I definitely get some Vader nods here and there. Same with the title track. Some Vader nods, especially with the thrashy speed, but holy shit, does it start off with some batshit insanity with the blast beats and the tremolo riffs. But then you get triplet chugs, which one of the only times that you get a real triplet chugging section would be right here on the title track, and made me think of another Polish death metal legend, Decapitated, a little bit. And this is really where you start to get a lot of those more technical guitars coming in. Like, there's technical guitar work pretty much all throughout this album, but with the title track, that's really where some of that tech death vibe really kind of sneaks in there. Bring to Me the Kill. We get some Morbid Angel riffs coming in here. It feels very much like Altars of Madness, but with more technicality laced, I would say. And even some of the riffs and the blasts towards the middle, later sections of the song made me think of the song Enshrined by Grace, but the big difference, this is recorded better than Heretic was. So yeah, that was a definite positive right there, at least for me. Then we get to Brace for Impact, and the opening riff this time around made me think of Slayer a little bit. Like, it was a little more sinister, a little more off-the-walls, thrashy-oriented, not so much tech death. And then here is when dissonance really comes in, and if there's one thing this album nails really well, dissonant riffs, or just dissonant atmosphere. And you get little hints of dissonance in the background on this track, and then crawling riff with blast beats on top to really give it that like disgusting evil sound. Big breakdown towards the end. Destroyer of Worlds might have been one of the big standouts for me, because this was maybe the slowest song of the album. Like, it's doomy, it's dissonant, and it's very sinister and dark for the most part. And there's some really nice tension building with double bass work and cool atmospheric toms to like really carry forth the murkiness of the song, before towards the end it picks up a bit into the thrash speeds, and then it gets really intense with tremolos and blasts. Neanderhell, technical guitars all around, more Vader vibes coming in whenever it gets more into those thrashy nods. Big blast beat with dissonant riffs. I Hate Therefore I Am, very sinister tremolo riff that brings back again the Morbid Angel vibes. Dissonant riffs alternating with some of those like more thrashy parts. And I love how the dissonance was done on this track in particular, because it didn't like really overpower everything. It was done tastefully well, I would say. I knew nothing then, and I know less now. This song, while some technical parts and some dissonance, felt like the most straightforward death metal track of the album, as the opening riff made me think of Blood Red Throne a little bit. Like, again, a little bit more of like that old school Floridian death metal vibe, but made me think of Blood Red Throne, especially whenever it gets down and dirty. Blast beats and thrash beats kind of coming in back and forth with each other. You even get a little D-beat stomp with some excellent guitar riffs on top. And then you get an awesome breakdown followed by more dissonance. And then Do Not Hold Me Back, maybe the most technical song of the album, because the riff right away, it's brutal but techy, very much like Necrophagist, I would say. And then the blast beats and the technical guitars just really go to town. And then more Morbid Angel riffs, I hear. And then you get a dissonant breakdown. It's like the previous track, it was a breakdown, then it turned into dissonance. And then here on Do Not Hold Me Back, the breakdown and the dissonance work together to create something really chaotic and just dark and evil and sinister sounding. So overall, this album, when it comes down to speed, it is blazing, apart from the first half of Destroyer of Worlds, where it got a little bit more doomy and maybe a little bit groove-oriented, but this is just a brutally fast album. Like, the speed is Mach 10, the technical guitar work is done tastefully well, doesn't feel like wankery, it feels like they were just trying to ride more complicated riffs. Nasty, evil tremolo riffs to kind of give off more of that Morbid Angel vibe, and even a little bit of that blackened element that's kind of in the band's sound. Breakdowns done very well, and the dissonance was tastefully done. As far as any complaints that I would have about the album, sometimes the drums may sound a little bit almost like the drums from the band Berserker, which is almost industrial-ish. And though I wouldn't say it's a complaint, but also the kick drum was really thumping, and I would say that was a big positive. At least a positive takeaway with the drum production is that the kick drums were really thumping on your chest. So overall, musically, this was some excellent technical death metal. Probably one of the better tech death albums I've heard in a while, and with a little peppering in of black metal in there. I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. I thought this was a really good album, and nothing more, nothing less to be said. But of course, this is all just my opinion. What did you guys think of My Enemies Look and Sound Like Me by Werewolves? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, keep your horns high and your dreams wet.